what's up, guys? So I just got done talking with one of my good friends who's struggling and to quit alcohol. He's had some real hard problems that alcohol has caused for him in his life, but it's got a grasp on him, and so he's trying real hard, struggling. However, he's not giving up. That's one thing. I'm real proud of him because he's got that never give up attitude. He just keeps just trying again, picking himself back up. But he asked me a question. He said, "How do you deal with the urges when they come up?" And so I wanted to address that and share a video about that, because I can remember, for me, I used to get that strong urge, usually about 4, 5 o'clock that was when my urge would kick in, right around when I was finished around with work or after I'd picked up my daughter from school. And usually about 4 or 5 o'clock is when I would get that real strong urge for my beverage of choice, which was a craft beer, brewski. And I remember just as soon as I cracked it open, it was great. And I remember I would get these real strong urges for that. I'd be fine all day. I wouldn't even think about it, And then all of a sudden when those urges came up, it was you had to have it. And where now, the good news is, I'm going to share what, my recommendation, my tip on how to fight those urges. But the good news is now, it's almost kind of weird reflecting back on these urges, because I haven't had an urge for a drink in so long that it was wow, I had to go down memory lane to remember what that was like, because I don't get those urges anymore at all. And so that is the good news, that eventually you can rewire your brain, which is what this is about, so that you don't get those urges anymore. They're just gone. And so the trick is, when you have those urges that come up, what you want to do is you want to find something to break the pattern. So I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, been to a lot of his events, and I've been listening to him for years. And what he talks about, something he talks about, is that our brains, we form what is called patterns throughout our life. We're throughout our life, from the time we were young until adult, and every single day we're making neurological connections when we're forming patterns. And that's why we do most of our life is unconscious. You can drive, just like I'm driving right now, and you don't even think about it. Have you ever driven from one place to another, and it was kind of you don't even remember you're driving. You're just wow, I don't even remember what I saw or anything. You're just in the zone. You get up in the morning, you have your routine, and a lot of it is just on autopilot. It's on patterns. And so what happens is that, especially when it comes to addictions and bad habits, is that we form patterns around those as well. And that's what happens with alcohol. Most of us who have problems with alcohol, have been drinking for years, many years, even decades. And so we formed a lot of patterns around alcohol. When we drink, after what time of day we start drinking, after we experience a certain kind of emotions. Maybe you go to alcohol when you're feeling sad, or something stresses you out, or the kids stress you out, or something. And so we have a lot of patterns around alcohol. And so what he advises is that when you're trying to break a habit, such as drinking, when those urges come up, what that is, it's a part of, remember the CDs, the compact discs that you play music with, and what it is, it's a laser beam is going on the disc, reading the patterns of the disc to be able to output the music. But then all of a sudden you would scratch the disc on accident or something. You had it in your car. I remember I used to have the discs all over, and I would scratch them, and then all of a sudden it would be playing, and it would be remember, it would just the song would be skipping, it would be say the same word over, and sometimes you would be you'd have to fast forward 30 seconds to get back to the song. Well, what he advises is that you almost want to do that with your brain, create a scratch. You want to break the pattern, because your CD is going to keep getting you to go back to that of which is familiar. And so when the urge comes up to drink, all that is a pattern. It's just the laser going over, it's that time, for whatever reason, something has triggered the pattern for you to start for having that craving to drink. Maybe it's from stress, all different kinds of things, but you have to find something to break the pattern. You have to find a way to scratch that CD disc. So for example, what you could do as soon as you feel that strong urge come up to drink, do something that you don't normally do to break the pattern. Maybe it is taking, what I started doing, what worked for me is I would take deep breaths. I would take a series of, even just 10 deep breaths. And what happens is the oxygen resets your neurological system, and I would find that the cravings would go away. Now, maybe for you, once you feel, the craving come up, do some push-ups or some jumping jacks. You know what? I'm gonna do like 30 seconds of push-ups or burpees, or take your dog for a walk, or chug a glass of water, or something. But you do something immediately to break the pattern. And what you'll typically find is that the craving goes away. Now, in the beginning, it may keep coming back again, stronger and stronger, and you're going to have to keep exercising to break that pattern over and over and over, whatever it is that you decide to do. Maybe, maybe you decide to, I'm just going to play some video games for a little bit or something, to get my mind off of thinking about. But every time that urge comes up, you want to find something to break that pattern. And what'll happen is that eventually the urges there'll be a wider gap in between you get the urges, and as time goes on, there'll be less and less urges, where eventually there won't be any urges at all, because you'll have recreated new patterns in your brain. You'll have created a new compact disc, and the drinking alcohol is not part of it. And that's now what's happened with my brain, because I remember there was a long time where I couldn't ever even conceive the thought of never drinking again, and now it's like, it's just a part of my life. I don't know, it's simple to go without drinking, but I had to reformulate new neurological connections and create new patterns in my mind, where now I don't get those cravings after work. Right now it's I'm on the way to pick up my daughter from school, we're gonna go home and make some dinner together, have fun, and I don't get those cravings anymore to just go to the fridge and crack open a beer, or I'd like to take her out to some of my favorite restaurants where I knew they had happy hour, so that I could get her dinner and me some buy one get one free drinks. I don't get those urges anymore because I recreated new patterns in my brain. So that is the good news. In time, those urges will absolutely go away, but in the meantime, when they do come up, you gotta find something crazy to break the pattern with. It might have to be something, it could even be just like screaming, I know Tony Robbins says sometimes there has to be something outrageous where you're just doing something wild to break the pattern. And when you do that, your brain is just like, what? This isn't part of the CD that we had created. And so and that's what you're essentially trying to do is break the pattern, create a scratch in your disc of your own brain, so that you can eventually create a new disc, a new pattern, a new brain for you. So with that being said, guys, until next time, have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.